I think I'm a special one.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Welcome back to On the Half Turn podcast with Andrew and Chad, episode 18.
18.
What's going on, Andrew? It's been a few weeks.
What's up? Yeah. I feel like we've kind of hit our groove in like about every 3 weeks, I would say. We average an episode.
Yeah, it's been tough. I moved back into school about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm down here in the regular, the lab here, the regular stew. But you're back at school. And I feel like if we do one like too frequently, you know what I mean? We'll end up talking about the same topics. So this way it gives us time to like really load up on some good topics. And we'll announce it on like our social medias and stuff. We got a really good guest coming up. We got some really good topics to talk about. Like, and I'm not joking about this one. So
yeah, I'm excited. What do you got on today? What jersey?
What jersey? So I wore this Columbia jersey back. It might have been episode 15 or 16, but I was an idiot. I deleted the Zoom video. So we had it. I had everything, but I accidentally sent it to the trash on my Mac and then emptied the trash. So we had the audio, just not the video. So I had to prove to the people that I'm wearing this cool Columbia jersey. Came from my trainer, Johnny Gonzalez. He was from Columbia. When I first started working with him, he gave it to me for Christmas. So it's pretty cool. I don't even know what year it is. Probably mid-90s.
Tough.
What about you?
I just have on a Chelsea training kit. I don't know. It might be like a pregame warm-up jersey. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough.
Teams are making those now. They're making a lot of those now. Like they're kind of training gear, kind of like lifestyle shirts.
Yeah, they'll sell more of them.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of jerseys, did you see the new Union kits?
Oh, new Union jerseys are fire. I think
They're fire. So if you haven't seen them, they're like light blue. They're kind of Sons of Ben inspired. And I'm definitely getting one, by the way. So apparently you could buy this like Supporters Shield winning patch that goes on the side, but they only sell it at the Union store. So I'm debating if I want to like wait and like get it from the store or just like buy one. I was on the website.
Dude, we're going to win plenty of those in the future. You can wait on this.
I don't know. It's pretty special first trophy. I haven't bought a Union jersey since my Amobio Kugo jersey, and I still wear that to every game.
Yeah.
It's like a 2012, like light blue Amobio Kugo jersey. They brought back the light blue. Are you going to get
anyone on the back, on the new one?
Yeah, I determined I'm going to get Ilsinho.
Bro, he might not be here for like the next couple of years.
It doesn't matter.
He's a club legend. He's a legend.
He is a legend. Like people will always know Ilsinho. But the problem is when you go on the website to order one, they have like Bedoya and like Santos and all those guys as like jerseys. And then you can go to customize one, but on the drop down menu where it gives you a list of like, the random players to choose from, like Ilsinho's not on the list. So I don't know if it's because his contract ran out and they just haven't renewed it yet. So I'm not sure whether to put Ilsinho or Ilson Jr. I don't know how that works. I think Ilsinho would be cooler than Ilson Jr.
Jr. on the back. I think he puts Ilson Jr. on the back.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe I'll get a Skilsinho, customize it. Let's just get Catalana 1.
The goalie jersey.
Yeah, the goalie kit. So yeah, since we recorded last, we had the Rondo episode. I think you guys know how we felt about that one. I thought it was pretty good, pretty helpful. I talked to a few people that said they liked it.
Yeah, well, all my friends are like, now they're saying like, oh, Rondo's. And they're saying, I gotta get your vitamins in.
Yeah, so it's we had some fun with it too. But like when you really think about it, like I'm sure maybe your friends are like this too, where they might do a Rondo at practice, but then when they hear about these benefits or like what it could actually do for you, you start taking them seriously, or it makes you think about it a different way.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the people that listen are probably players. They're probably younger players, and maybe a couple coaches or something. So you could think about it a different way.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's cool. Today, I just kind of want to go through U.S. men's national team had a game last week. Maybe wrapping up the January transfer window, some other transfer talk. And then I got a couple other fun kind of topics to talk about. So it shouldn't be too long. Do you want to start with the national team game?
Yeah.
Do you want to pull up the roster, or not the roster, but the the starting 11?
Yeah, I will.
Cool. So they beat Trinidad 7-0. It really wasn't a game. But you got to be able to take something away from it, right? So they were supposed to play Serbia. Serbia was on lockdown or something, so they couldn't travel. Trinidad wasn't even training, and they were able to take the game. So, they clearly did not look good.
A little revenge against Trinidad.
Yeah. Well, we played them in the Gold Cup a couple years ago and beat them.
Still.
But, yeah, so who are the goal scorers? It was
Jonathan Lewis had 2. Jesus Ferreira had 2. Paul Arriola had 2. And Miles Robinson got 1.
Death, taxes, and Paul Arriola being in Berhalter's lineups. So, all those guys, I think, played well, right? If you start back to front, just go through, a few of the names. Matt Turner, pretty solid. He saved the penalty. But, in a game like this, he was pressured a few times, and he made, a nice 1 or 2 touch pass out of it. So, that's what I take from that, It was
Aaron
interesting
Herrera.
Sorry, what were you saying?
What were you going to talk about? What were you going to say?
I was going to talk about the center backs because Berhalter didn't play Walker Zimmerman, who I think he likes Walker Zimmerman, but he played Miles Robinson and Aaron Long. Aaron Long's like a tank, He's pretty consistent. Did you see the rumor that he was going to go to Liverpool?
Yeah.
That would have been pretty funny. Which, on a side note, he was going to go to West Ham, I think, for $5 or $6 million. And if West Ham's paying that number, he's probably a Premier League player. So if he's a Premier League player and Liverpool just need a 5th or 4th center back on the depth chart, he could play at Liverpool. I don't see why it's out of the question.
You'd probably start right now.
I don't know about that. I'm sure they would start their regular center mids that are filling in.
I was going to say, I'd rather have Aaron Long at center back than Jordan Henderson.
What a debate that is. So Miles Robinson was next to him. And I don't know, man. Every time I watch Miles Robinson, I'm pretty impressed. He's good on the ball. He's pretty strong in a tackle.
Yeah. I mean, I only catched maybe 30 minutes of the first half of this game.
You only catched it.
Oh.
You had Aaron Herrera on the right. So he's a young guy, just kind of, he's probably.
I didn't know who he was before this game.
What'd you say?
I said I didn't know who he was before this game.
Oh, he was in a lot of the U20 qualifying cycles and stuff. I don't know if he was on the team, but a lot of these guys too. It was a joint camp with the U23s, so they're preparing for Olympic qualifying as well. So probably had something to do with that too. So maybe Berhalter's just going to for Olympic qualifying. Who's on the left? Oh, Sam Vines. Dude, Sam Vines is nice.
I really like Sam Vines.
Yeah.
I said I liked him 2 years ago too.
Yeah. He's silky. He kind of he's got a weird look about him, but he's smooth with the ball. He plays a good pass. He's really intense.
Mm-hmm.
I like him. Who is in the midfield? Oh, Jackson Ewell, Leggett,
and Acosta.
I like all 3 of those. I'm not a huge Ewell guy. I think Leggett is could fit in with the best 11 national team that we put out there. He's really good.
Leggett's always there.
Yeah, I people that criticize Leggett are I don't know, stupid. He's just he's good.
He's in every U.S. game.
Yeah, and the only people that are going to criticize Leggett are people that are oh, he plays for the Galaxy, not he doesn't play in Europe. He plays for the Galaxy. Who cares? He was a good player for the Galaxy, and he's a good player.
This is Acosta's first time playing in a while, right?
Yeah, he actually got a lot of run in the 2018 World Cup qualifying cycle. And like to my eye, I remember him being pretty good. And I went back and watched a lot of those highlights, and he was not bad.
You were hating on him though recently.
He's like a hype beast on Instagram. And he like plateaued a little bit. I think people thought he was going to be like our starting left back for a while, and then just like stopped getting call ups, and then started playing center mid, got traded. But that's why like people, it's not just a linear path. People think like, oh, this guy's young, he'll be good, but he might be young and good and then plateau for a couple of years and then break through at 24 or 25 like Acosta's doing. And who knows, Acosta could theoretically be starting for us in the World Cup. Who knows?
Whoa.
But that type of player where he's young and ascending, plateaus, maybe goes down a little bit, comes back up, is probably what most U.S. fans are not accounting for.
Yeah. So the front three was Areola, Ferreira, and Lewis.
Yeah, I was not a big Jonathan Lewis fan before, but he played well.
Yeah.
I like Ferreira too. He's kind of a different kind of striker.
That was probably like the first time I like watched a game with Ferreira, and I'll be honest. Like,
yeah, most of the time you just hear about like, oh, like Ferreira did this for FC Dallas, but like you never really watch him.
Yeah.
DK
Paul
got some
Areola.
minutes.
Paul Areola might be my favorite player on the national team.
Dude, are you kidding me?
Yeah, dude, I love that guy.
Dude, I don't know if you remember, but
so good.
When we first started the podcast, I was like, dude, who knows? Like maybe someone random will come on the podcast, like Paul Areola. And you're like, dude, no way Paul Areola comes on the podcast. So maybe we got to get Paul Areola on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll get him on next.
Yeah, he actually just made a transfer move, so we're gonna have to talk about Areola.
Yeah.
Then we got some Daryl DK minutes up top. So I don't know. We've all been in games where like the other team is not good and you're clearly the better team. But for me, in the past, the U.S. might win that game 3-0. It might be ugly. But Berhalter had a long camp to establish something, and he did it, right? So, like, the team clearly had a way to play. It might not have been, they might not have boxed Trinidad and Tobago in and just kept the ball for 10 minutes at a time, but they were playing a high line. So they're just, like, dominating the space. You know what I mean? There's space in behind. You play balls in behind. You get runners in. It's just, like, you see a system with Berhalter where in the past with other national teams or club teams or whatever, you don't. And that's like one of my complaints with a lot of teams, like whether it's college, club, high school, whatever, there's people who will like, they just play to win the game. And it's like, let's just beat this team 3-4-0, walk away. But like, you got to ask more out of your team. Like, don't stop playing your style.
Yeah, but the U.S. really have not played anyone good since Berhalter's been coach.
So you're discounting Nations League and the Gold Cup. Wales is not bad.
Wales.
All right. Well, dude, I'm not arguing like with you. I'm just saying all American soccer fans on Twitter like hype up all of our European guys, and they couldn't beat Wales.
All right. I was not a big fan of Berhalter from the beginning because he was doing stuff like playing Tyler Adams at like right back and moving him like center mid like that, like that thing. And I was like, what is this guy doing? Like who does he think he is? He's coaching the U.S. national team, not someone like better, I guess.
Yeah.
But now I feel like I was watching the game and I was just like, wow, these dudes that are playing are like so sharp on the ball and like literally like I feel like they're all smart and it's like I don't know how to explain it. I feel like they all know what to do, like how to play.
Exactly. Like that's
like
one of the things
getting across to him.
Yeah. So we got to give it to him that he had a long camp to do this, but he's expanding the player pool and I think he's doing a really good job. Like you can't really judge someone based on like, their first couple camps, they're trying like weird formations and whatever. Like you could be critical, But like the fact that he's building this as a program and not just a team is something like pretty important as well. The U.S. brought on Ernie Stewart as the general manager for the whole U.S. Soccer Federation. They brought on Brian McBride to be the GM of just the men's national team. And from there, you have a clear structure. And you see Berhalter getting involved with U23s. I'm sure he's involved with the U20s and so on. And like bringing those guys in to play this style is something pretty important. And like, yeah, he might not have the tactics figured out. He might not quite know who he wants to play as the 10 or what kind of forward he wants or where the runs are coming from. But the fact that they're in this and they're playing that style is pretty important. And he's really expanding the player pool.
Sorry, you just froze. What did you say?
Yeah, I was going to say you were lagging a little bit. What was the last thing you heard?
He I assume you're going to say expand the player pool.
Yeah, all right. That was the last thing I said. I think it just froze for a sec. But
well, I saw something crazy like, dude, I don't know the number, but a crazy amount of people who got their first cap under Berhalter.
Oh, it's probably a ton of
I
people.
don't know the number, but it's like a crazy amount. Like, just think about it. I think all the young players that are like.
Well, that's the thing too. Is I don't think it really benefits him to just have 60 players to pick from. Like, if you have 60 players to pick 20, it's kind of hard. But if you have 60 players that could all bring the level up, and then the top 40 players can bring the level up again, it like funnels into your starting 11. Like, that's a good thing. And if you know, I know it's soccer, but take like an example of a college soccer program or a college basketball program or football. They're just saying, give me the talent and we'll make it work. So if you expand the player pool or MLS gets better with all these young guys, it's just going to help the national team. That's why I really hate when people are like, give me your hypothetical U.S. men's national team starting 11 right now. And it's just all these European-based guys. And people are like, no, like, why should DK get called up? Like, it's obviously Josh Sargent as the starting forward. It's like, dude, you're projecting a World Cup lineup 2 years down the road, 2 years with different player moves and runs of form and injuries and whatever. So expanding the player pool and getting all these players in and collecting information on them is super important.
Yeah, like who were some of these guys like 2 years ago? You know, like people just kind of pop up.
Yeah,
You know?
and in 2
but
years,
it's fun. It's fun to make your lineup. Like,
oh yeah, but people take it like really seriously. Like, dude, if I'm on Twitter and I say anything about Josie Altidore, people just start like, grilling me.
all right, because you say too much about Josie Altidore on Twitter.
Because you can't say enough about Josie Altidore.
I would think your Twitter account's a Josie Altidore burner account.
I don't know.
Could be.
We'll get Josie Altidore and Paul Ariola as a combined podcast.
Oh, that'd be awesome. But we just ask Paul Ariola questions, not Josie.
Yeah,
so
well, we asked Paul Ariola questions about Josie.
Yeah.
Like, so Paul, what was Josie's best goal? I have some notes here. Let me see. Oh, one thing I wanted to say. I don't know if you watched any of the YouTube videos that U.S. Soccer puts out.
I like the YouTube videos more than watching the actual game. I'll be honest.
Yeah, true. That's what I like. Like, I love watching coaching sessions. So like a good coach, like running a session. So they had one with, it was the men's national team training, and they have everything's a competition in their training. So they have this big pool, U23s and full national team guys are all thrown in together. They're all fighting for those spots. And he separates them. He's got a big staff to like separate them, make the teams, keep an eye out. And they're giving points for everything. Like if you win a game, if you do something right in a drill or a training session. And I don't know, I just think that's really good and a good way to like build the program, like the standard. I'm sure there was plenty of times, maybe not under Bruce Arena when we didn't qualify for Russia because it was so like kind of hectic. But I think there were times under Klinsmann or times under, I don't know, maybe even Bob Bradley or any team in the world really where people think they have their spot made. And I think that's what Berhalter doesn't want to happen. I mean, he hasn't even named like a consistent captain.
Yeah, good point. I feel like since there's so many players in the pool right now and everyone's making appearances, nobody knows if like their spots there, Like they called people from this camp and what was it? The December camp?
Yeah.
like a ton of different players. So
Yeah, it could just be different players. And another thing, I think they also want to get information too. Like this is a program, so like Berhalter and his assistants might be worried about the first team, but there might be another guy who wants data on, he wants to know how a random player reacts in this system, and maybe it's creating relationships with Real Salt Lake or something. You know what I mean? So there's more than just coaching the starting 11 and the few subs. There's a big program around it. And I think that's something that we haven't had in a while.
Yeah. What else you got on this game?
That's all I had for this. I think Berhalter's doing a good job so far.
Yeah, I'm starting to like what he's doing.
Yeah.
I just didn't like him at first because
yeah, it makes sense. And then he's standing on like the sideline with the sweater, and you're like, dude, what are you doing?
you might think he's Pep Guardiola a little too much.
He is. If somebody could tell us what the nickname GGG means, though, because I see people on Twitter, they call Berhalter, it's 3 capital G's. Like, his first name's Gregg. Where do the other 2 G's come from? Like,
Yeah, I don't know either. They've been calling him that for like 2 years now, too.
yeah. All right. So, keeping on the American theme here, I wanted to go through some of the January transfers just with American guys or MLS guys. So obviously, we already talked a lot about Aronson to Salzburg and McKenzie to Ghent. Both of those guys have kind of started off, played some games. So, like I said, I think MLS has started to, they're pushing the young players through. They got their systems to be able to sell these guys. And the Union in particular, I don't think they're looking for the biggest payday right away. I think they're looking to improve their youth selling brand as like almost like an American Ajax or something, where these guys, they're selling them to sell them again. They're putting them on the platform to become the best they could be. They're not saying, oh, I'm going to sell it to this, like a team that's going to try and get the most out of the player, but he's not going to continue to develop. Genk and Salzburg are both developing and selling clubs as well.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
before, where just take the extreme example, Josie Altidore going from the Red Bulls to Villarreal back in 2009, 2010. Villarreal didn't really have a use for him. They weren't a selling club. And then they loaned him to Hull City in the EPL, who were trying to stay up and fight relegation. Neither of those teams had any bit of like desire to really develop him other than see him as an investment. But Genk and Salzburg see these guys as, assets that continue to grow in value.
Yeah, like Villarreal and Hull aren't like the top clubs in their leagues.
Yeah,
those teams like Genk and Salzburg can play like younger players and get them experience, especially like if they're good enough to start and stuff too.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing too is like when you see it, I think it's going to be hard. I think people, and MLS maybe included, maybe that's why MLS in the selling stalled for a few years there, because I think people thought, oh, MLS is a good league now, let's just sell Miguel Almiron to Newcastle. That's never really going to happen. Almiron was that good. I think it's going to be get them on the stage in Europe to then sell them, so the transition is easier. But the MLS team might not be worse than Genk or Salzburg, but it just puts them on a European platform that translates better. The big teams can get more data, more, analytics is pretty big now, more scouts, all that stuff.
Well, Genk and Salzburg are definitely a higher level than MLS.
Yes, but the league itself might not be.
Yeah, you're right. But they play in Champions League. I don't know what Genk plays in, but
Salzburg's in Europa League. Because they lost.
We're in Champions League.
Yeah.
Okay.
Genk
in Europa League?
I don't know.
Or nah, I don't know.
I don't remember. So you probably heard the name Joe Scally. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, I know the name. I didn't know that he went to Mönchengladbach.
Yeah, he went to Borussia. In my notes, I spelled Mönchengladbach so wrong. It's kind of funny. I don't know much about him, but I've heard he's pretty good. So I think he signed a couple years ago, and he just turned 18, so now he's allowed to go. So I don't know if he's getting first team minutes, but the Bundesliga website did a profile on him. They said he plays like Trent Alexander-Arnold, so I think we're just going to play 7 right backs. So that's good. Yedlin to Galatasaray, thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. I didn't even hear about it, and then I just scroll on Instagram, and he's just like in the center of the Galatasaray like stadium.
Yeah.
Like, oh no.
He was rumored to go to Trabzonspor, which is another Turkish team. So, so at work, every Friday we order from this diner, and the guy who owns the diner is Turkish. So we talk soccer, and he's a Trabzonspor fan. So we were talking about Yedlin last week and this week, and he was telling me tomorrow is Galatasaray and Fenerbahce.
Ooh.
So he said he claims that it was the 4th biggest rivalry in the world. And
really?
like if there's like, you know, I'm sure like you could look up pictures. It probably gets pretty intense when there's fans there and everything. So
yeah,
might have to watch that game. I don't know if Yedlin's gonna play, but
it's probably on like I don't even know.
he said it's on beIN Sports, so
yeah,
that'd be cool. Kaden Clark signed with RB Leipzig, but he's going after the 2021 season. So I think he'll be 18 at that point.
So like what Aronson did?
Yeah, but this is
Leipzig?
obviously further out, yeah. And this is obviously the New York Red Bulls RB Leipzig connection.
He's not going to Salzburg, he's going to Leipzig?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's Leipzig.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big jump. Now, I don't know what that means for who knows if Aronson's path would have been Salzburg then Leipzig. It could be Salzburg then I don't know, Real Sociedad. You know what I mean? So it's not Real Sociedad.
I guess we'll find out.
So that's good. Kaden Clark's good, dude. I like him.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne Holmes went from Derby County to Huddersfield, both in the English Championship. I think Dwayne Holmes might have just had a falling out with the coach, needed a new change. I always kind of liked him. I don't know how good he is, really.
Is it Rooney?
Yeah, it is Rooney.
Falling out with Rooney.
Wayne Rooney. Brian Reynolds, right back for FC Dallas, was rumored with Juve, Roma, all these places. Signed with Roma for 5 to 7 million, I think it's euros.
But it was a loan, right?
It's a loan. It's a loan to a transfer. I'm pretty sure all these Italian teams are doing it. That's what Juve did with Weston McKennie, just to be able to, you know, I think there's a rule about how many non-Europeans you could buy in one window or something like that.
Okay.
So it's probably easier for their books and for their financials to do that.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. Free transfer Bobby Wood from Hanover to Real Salt Lake. Did you know that?
I did not know that. And when I read that, I was like, no way.
So I've been doing here's a hint for a future episode. I've been doing a deep dive on the 2018 World Cup qualifying cycle. Hint. And so I wanted to look up like what Bobby Wood's been up to. And he was, you know, pretty bad for Hanover, like wasn't scoring goals, whatever, bounced around the 2 Bundesliga. And then I saw he signed a free transfer for RSL. So I'm not sure if he's going to be there for the start of the season or for the beginning of the summer.
I'm excited to like see him play. I don't know.
Yeah. I was never a Bobby Wood guy, but he definitely kind of looked the part.
Because he was always taking minutes from Josie Altidore. That's why he didn't like him.
They actually played together more than you would think. What are you saying?
I said he scored some big goals.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he scored in Columbus against Mexico. Scored in the Copa America. So, and then a couple other loan deals. Daryl Dike, who we said, you know, signed from Orlando City, went to Barnsley in the English Championship. I think that'll be cool. The guy's just
why did he do that?
Huh?
He just stay in MLS. Like, why? Why is he?
I don't know. And it's only like a half-season loan, so.
Is that what like MLS players are going to start doing now? Just do half-season loans and then?
I don't know, because also the next one, our boy Paul Arriola, and Jordan Morris both going on loan to Swansea till the end of the season. Swansea's
I feel
fighting
bad
for
the outside backs going against Swansea.
Yeah, I know, right?
Their wingers are just going to be Areola and Morris.
Well, apparently so Swansea's fighting for promotion, and they're in the championship trying to get to the Premier League. And apparently they play a 3-5-2. I don't know how true that is because while U.S. soccer fans they have a lot of information on Twitter, I don't really think they know soccer too much. So maybe Morris is used as a striker, Areola as a wingback. I don't know, man.
Probably. If that's the case.
But I think it'd be cool. They'll be challenged. Like, so obviously I'm rooting for Paul Areola, but I hope Jordan Morris tears it up in Europe just because everybody online always hates on Jordan Morris. It's like he's just a good player who wanted to make a lot of money close to home in MLS. Like, I don't know how you hate on him.
He's a beast. He's one of the best players in MLS, and he's American. So like,
yeah,
deserves some respect.
Yeah. And he's gotten better too. He hasn't just been this big bulky guy who hasn't gotten better. Just because he was like pretty developed physically when he came out of college and whatever, like his soccer skills have gotten better. He looks weird doing it because he's so big, but he's a good player.
Yeah.
If I stuck with playing winger and forward, I'd probably be like a Jordan Morris. Imagine me just running at your back line.
You can improve your speed a little bit to be like Jordan Morris.
Yeah. I'm pretty fast.
More plyos.
I'm always doing plyos. Probably hitting legs after this at the gym too. Chris Richards going on loan to Hoffenheim. It's a pretty good deal, I think.
Yeah, it's cool because, like, he played a little bit in the beginning of the season, but I think it's because they had injuries, like, at Bayern.
Yeah.
But I feel like you think he'll start getting, like, first-team minutes, like –
At Hoffenheim?
Yeah.
Dude, I hope so. Like, so if he can get first-team minutes, best case scenario, I think, is, look, he's probably not going to play for Bayern. Bayern have
he might.
Really good they play him at right back, Chris Richards, when he got time. But they have a few really good center backs. They have this one guy, it's like 18-year-old kid from PSG they bought for like $15 million, who will probably be really good in 3 years. Smart move. They have a bunch of dudes just in the system. So they'll probably just loan him to Hoffenheim. And best case scenario, he ends up like a John Brooks type who finds himself on like a top.
Best case scenario? I don't know. I feel like even if he does go, if he stays at Bayern, that's awesome. Like, that's amazing. But even if he goes to a different club, whether it's in the Bundesliga or whatever, that's still great because, like, he played at Bayern for a little bit of his youth career.
So, yeah, you would think fighting for a spot at Bayern is – what was that?
John Brooks didn't do that.
I mean, he was at a mid-table – I'm saying a mid-table club like John Brooks, where he's at where the heck was he at before he got bought by Wolfsburg? Werder Bremen?
Yeah, like the same team, yeah.
Yeah, they basically are the same team. But so it was like you're basically at a mid-table team and then make a jump up to a top 5 or top 6 team. So if he does that and he can get consistent first-team minutes. But if he has a chance to get regular minutes at Bayern at some point, like training with Bayern players is probably insane.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's good. That's all I had for Americans and their transfers and all that. Is that all you want to talk about there?
Yeah, I don't think there's any more Americans that did any.
Yeah, there's probably, there's some MLS guys.
What were some big transfers that went down this window?
Oh, you mean big ones?
Yeah.
I mean, you have Odegaard going on loan to Arsenal. I think is pretty cool. You have Ozil to Fenerbahce.
Yeah. I feel like some teams could have made bigger transfers.
Yeah.
I mean, they made big transfers. Like, I mean, Liverpool signed some center backs.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I forget how to say it. Ozan Kabak.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure he's
career mode team.
He's staying in Germany until the end of the season.
Okay.
They probably thought they were getting Aaron Long on loan or something.
Yeah.
Like, nah, we don't need you. And so yeah, pretty uneventful. There was a good amount of rumors, but nothing huge happened.
Yeah.
Sancho still not at Man United.
Yeah. It's honestly good, man. You did not buy him like in the summer.
Yeah.
He hasn't really been.
Dude,
That's good.
that stuff is pretty like random. It's not like you're not going to be like, oh, like Sancho must suck now because he's not doing good. Like if he went to Man United, he could have 20 goals already,
Yeah, I'm just saying maybe he was just in super good form, and then the season ended, and I don't know, he just hasn't picked it up. Maybe he was vacationing in the Maldives too much or something. I don't know.
He's on holiday. Yeah, Dortmund just hasn't been too good this season. I mean, as much as I like Dortmund, and I think they're like savvy in the transfer window, like look at the team. Like that team is not that good. As much as I like Gio Reyna and Julian Brandt and Jude Bellingham, those guys are young guys. They're not established. They're not like legit pros. I don't really think Marco Reus is that good, to be honest. What does that mean?
He's pretty good, bro.
I don't know, man. But all right, speaking of that, I wanted to go into some ideal transfers for big clubs, just like for fun. And like we could be as much of a hype beast as we want, right? So like where you think they would fit depending on what you think the team's budget is.
Okay.
So of course the first one I write down is Erling Haaland from Dortmund to either Manchester City or Real Madrid.
I mean, I would love to see him at Manchester City. I think it'd be so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they need a striker.
Yeah. I always really liked Aguero, and I don't think Gabriel Jesus is that good. But like, look, how many times have we seen like a real like world-class number 9? Like, don't count Messi, don't count Ronaldo. What do you have? Like Ibrahimovic, Lewandowski, which are like, other than that, like who else is really that good? Aguero for a while. Okay.
Suarez.
Okay. They're hard to come by. But when you have one, they score all the time. So why not just splash on a Haaland who projects to be like special? Like, I don't know. Maybe he could be better than like Brazilian Ronaldo for all we know.
Bro, but splash like for Haaland's like that's big splash. Like that's a lot of money.
Okay. Now
that good at such a young age, like his price tag is like super high.
So I heard he has a release clause that triggers in 2022 for like $65 million.
Heard? Yeah, you got sources.
Sources are telling me. But if that's true, you would think Dortmund would be in a rush to sell him. So they must be negotiating a new contract with him to pay him a bunch of money with a huge
Yeah.
Huh?
I mean, if you were Dortmund, like, would you rather have the money or the player? Like,
see, I don't know. I would think
I'd rather just keep him.
They're not going to keep him for long. Although if they keep him for 2 more years, like they could still sell him, I guess. But then you're banking on him continuing to be in good form. No matter how good he is, he's going to be relying on the rest of the team also being that good. Strikers rely on service a lot of times as well. So if he has a season with only 12 goals, he's not going to be worth as much when he's a 20-year-old or whatever he is scoring 20-some goals.
Yeah.
He's a beast. He's rare. I think Real Madrid are not that good. They need to buy him. I actually have – so we're done with Haaland. You want to move on?
Yeah. What else you got?
Haaland's one of my favorite non-Americans, by the way. I need to start making a list of my favorite non-Americans. The next one I have Marcus Rashford to Real Madrid.
There's so many probably to Real Madrid you got on your list.
Yeah.
Everyone gets linked to Real Madrid.
I have you to Real Madrid.
Ooh, I like that one.
So here's my thinking. I get Rashford's like a homegrown and whatever, and he's good for Man United. But if Real Madrid are looking to spend money, maybe they get rid of Hazard, somebody flops, whatever, and they strike out on somebody big like a Haaland, and they're like, we need something in attack. Rashford's the guy, right? Like Rashford will be good enough to me to play for Real Madrid. He just looks like a Real Madrid player.
Kinda, but since he's grew up with Manchester United, I can't see him going somewhere.
Yeah, I just think the profile of player for Real Madrid. If you have some too, we can go back and forth, but I have a few written out, so I'll just keep going down the list. This is a funny one. I have Scott McTominay to either Real Madrid or PSG.
I could see him going to PSG.
Dude, if really sit down and watch him, he's incredible.
Whoa.
No, dude, I don't think you watch him close enough.
Incredible?
Yes. Dude, McTominay's so good. And for a team like PSG, especially right now with like Mbappe and Neymar, you just sit back, let the other center midfielders pull the strings and whatever. McTominay just sits, plays the ball nice, defends. He's a beast.
I like him, yeah. But I can see him like playing for PSG.
Mm-hmm. And Real Madrid too. Like if some of their center mids don't work out or they need to sell a couple guys, that's a guy who could fit into like any team in the world for not a huge price tag. And I think maybe he just wasn't ready to start full time, but I think they hung on to Matic starting too much for like about a year and a half there. They should have just ripped the Band-Aid off, let McTominay play.
He's like a Matic.
Yeah, but he's better than Matic, and he's been better than Matic.
Yeah, for a few seasons, yeah.
If you get like prime Matic, was that 2016-17 Chelsea? Was ridiculous. And McTominay could be better than that.
Okay. You're really high on McTominay.
Yes.
I get it.
He might be in my list with Holland of my favorite non-Americans. I've actually been high on McTominay for a while because my college coach, Graham, he coached me my senior year. I remember he was talking to someone else about the Scottish – he's Scottish. They were talking about the Scottish national team. And he said something about McTominay, and I was like, oh, yeah, he's Scottish, isn't he? And Graham was like, yeah. I was like, oh, I really like him. So, been high on McTominay. I have Aguero to Barca on a free.
When's his contract done this year?
This summer, yeah. So if
maybe like Atletico Madrid.
They have Suarez until Suarez comes to MLS.
No, I can see them both playing there. I feel like Aguero played at Atletico. I could see him going back there on like a free. They got Suarez on a free.
Yeah, it's just good business. I think Suarez is still really good. I just don't think he's a full.
Does Aguero really want to go to Barcelona? Does anyone really want to go to Barcelona?
Think about how many goals he would score, dude. He'd be better than Griezmann playing up top. I like Griezmann too. I just don't think his best spot is at Barcelona.
Okay.
I'm gonna get his name wrong. Hossam Aour.
Yeah.
Leon.
Yeah, I like this one that you have.
I have him to Barca or City.
I like him to City.
Yeah.
I feel like that move just fits.
Like if let's say they offload, I would think they keep guys like Sterling and Bernardo Silva, but like let's say they offload Gundogan or somebody else, and like you just plug a really good dribbler into that system.
Mm-hmm.
Like City's good at thinking, especially Pep, like getting how he wants to play, getting that out on the field, but thinking ahead to be able to fill gaps. Like kind of like what they did with Sterling or like Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva's only like 25. It's like by the time he really gets going, he'll be 26, 27. He'll be in his prime.
You think? You think he's only 25?
Yeah, he's young. Younger than I thought when I was.
Okay.
I have Jadon Sancho to Man United or PSG. PSG as a
– imagine him if he went to PSG playing with Neymar and Mbappe. So
that would be awesome, but I kind of thought correlated here. I kind of thought like if there's a chance Neymar went back to Barca or Mbappe to Real Madrid.
Maybe, yeah. But Neymar just signed a new contract, I thought.
No, I mean, I'm sure he did, but they could still sell him.
Yeah, you're right.
There have been Neymar to Barca rumors for like the last like year and a half. Especially if like let's say PSG don't win anything again. Maybe they even bottle the league this year and they don't win the league, and they don't win the Champions League. Like maybe there's some shakeup there.
Wait, and let's be honest, like there's players like around the world that just look like they could go to other teams. Like
Yeah.
Mbappe looks like you can just see him in a Real Madrid.
Yes,
shirt.
yes, exactly. Like
Before Hazard went to Real Madrid, you could see him in Real Madrid.
yeah, I low key could see Pulisic in a Real Madrid jersey too, but he's not that good. But the way I see it is, Real Madrid is the top of like the food chain here. So like they're not savvy enough. I don't think they've ever been savvy enough to buy up these like young players that will be good or develop them. But like they got to be smart in picking like the next tier guys that can make the jump, or they got to be able to buy these top tier guys, just splash the money and say, heck, we need a Champions League, we need a La Liga title. Mbappe is going to give it to us because Hazard and Benzema aren't. They're not good enough. And
Cruz and Modric and
they're on their way out. Like
Casemiro, they're getting older, yeah.
Yeah, so you replace those guys with McTominay, Rashford, and Mbappe. Like that's a team. Man. I might have to be a Real Madrid fan if that happens. You're gonna have to help me with his name, Upamecano from RB Leipzig.
Yeah.
I had him to Man United or Arsenal.
Yeah, Man U would be a good one.
Same with the center back partner. I don't know how to say his name. Konate or something.
Konate?
Yeah, I never know how to say it. I guess they're similar players, but it seems like there's more transfer buzz around Upamecano. Man United fans are always half of them criticize Harry Maguire, and then half of them are like, oh, we need someone to play next to Harry Maguire. So I like Lindelof. I think he's good, but I think Harry Maguire is better. You pair him and Maguire.
Yeah, like all good teams have 3 good center backs to play.
Yeah. And by the way, while we're on the topic of center backs in the Premier League, haven't I always loved John Stones?
Yeah.
Yeah, and now he finally gets his chance, and he's been absolutely killing it for City. They haven't conceded a goal in like weeks.
Really? They didn't. I don't know.
Dude,
Since the last time we talked about it, they haven't conceded a goal.
They won 1-0 the other day. Then they've been winning like 3-0, like 2-0. Dude. And like it's Stones and I think it's Stones and Diaz almost every game.
Okay.
So
you're saying your center backs when you see them.
I just know my play. Like, all right, sometimes my takes might not be too refined. Like I might come on here and stumble a little bit. But when I say, oh, I like that guy, that means he's at the next level. Like I'm not wrong about a whole lot of guys.
So if you like someone, that means they're approved. Like they have to be good.
Yeah. Like, all right, who have I been wrong about?
Oh my God. Let's not.
Breck Shea?
Dude, there's been so many guys.
No, you haven't named one.
Mostly people who just like play in MLS. You think, this dude's gonna be so good.
All right, but maybe I was a little MLS biased. But I was a big Son guy before Son really burst out on the scene.
Yeah, but Son was already on Spurs when you said that.
Yeah, but he was like a lower level play on
Spurs.
I was a big Olivier Giroud fan, and everyone at Arsenal was like, no, he sucks. Like, he shouldn't play. And then he goes on and plays well in the Euros. He plays well in the World Cup. And now people are begging for him to start on Chelsea. Let's see, who else? Obviously, like the guys we mentioned, like Stones. You just watch out for McTominay. Rashford I've been high on. Trying to think of like, give me some other guys.
I don't know. Just a lot of MLS guys.
Who are your guys? Who are your guys?
What?
Who are your guys that you like predicted would be good?
Oh shoot. I don't know. I don't think I ever told you like I think this guy's maybe I can't think of him right now. So
Take Kubo?
What? There's a lot of guys that I like. Like,
yeah.
Dude, I have to follow like 200 players on Instagram.
Nice.
Like there's like 200 guys I like. So.
You know who I might be wrong on? I'm still not gonna say I'm wrong yet. Sam Lammers. He's a forward.
Yeah.
He played for
Most
PSV.
random person.
Yeah, forward for PSV. Got bought by Atalanta for like $7 million, and I was like, yeah, I'm justified. They just spent money on him, and like he hasn't really broke into the team. But Atlanta's a good team, so.
Yeah. You been watching any Serie A?
What'd you say?
You been watching any Serie A?
I have watched a little bit of Serie A. I watched the full AC Milan. Was it AC Milan Atalanta? Yeah, Atlanta destroyed them 3-0.
When was that?
2 weeks ago.
Oh shoot! I've been so behind on the.
I'll tell you what. I watched. What we need to do is start like a segment where like we talk about like YouTube videos or full games that we watched. Because I watched the freaking Werder Bremen Schalke game, trying to see Sargent and Hoppy. It was like the worst professional game I've ever watched. It was brutal.
Dude, that's how I felt like half the Bundesliga games we watched during the summer.
No, all right. Yeah,
the only thing on.
Some of them weren't like entertaining that we watched in the summer, but like they were good games. Like the quality was high. This game was so boring and like it wasn't even good quality.
Yeah. Because there's Americans playing in that game. I was kidding.
Yeah. Well, dude, you know how I feel about Sargent.
I hope you're wrong about that, to be honest.
I hope I am too. Like I hope him, I hope Way, I hope Hoppy, I hope all these guys are good. I got to separate myself from the like the annoying like Sargent fanboys that just think because he's in the Bundesliga he's good, compared to like the people who could actually watch the games or see that he doesn't score, see that he didn't do anything. Because he really doesn't. I don't know.
Okay, we don't need to get into it. Get you wound up about Sargent and the U.S. men's national team striker situation.
Yeah, it's out the door. End of question. I have Eduardo Camavinga.
To who?
So he's worth I have down here. He's worth $66 million on transfer market. So that sounds like a fair price to me. I have him to Real Madrid or Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich would be a good one.
Yeah. I can see him going like Chelsea too.
No way.
Yeah, that'd be cool, bro. He could be like a Conte.
No, I don't think he's that kind of player, man. I don't think he's like a ball hunter. That's why I think he'd be better at Bayern Munich, like especially if they keep Kimmich, and Kimmich is like their defensive mid. Yeah, Bayern, or he would also look like he'd be in a Real Madrid kit.
Yeah, you're right.
That's another guy. Speaking of guys that I like, Kovacic. No one can ever tell me that Kovacic is not good or not one of Chelsea's best players.
Some games he doesn't even do anything.
I don't know, man. I think he's good.
No, I think he's good too. It's just like some games he doesn't make an impact.
Now imagine a McTominay and a Kovacic midfield for Real Madrid. Last one I have, two more. One I have Sule. Sule, I don't know how to say it, from Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
I guess he was rumored to go to Chelsea at some point.
I could see that. See that.
I do think I like Zuma a lot better than Rudiger. I don't know why they play Rudiger. I kind of hate him. Next to what's his face, Thiago Silva, but he's pretty old. But then I also have David Alaba to Chelsea or City.
Thought he was gonna go to Real.
I don't know. I think that'd also be a good get because I don't know if they want to play him as a left back, center back. Heck, he could play defensive mid too. But that's the thing with City. They play like he could be like a João Cancelo where he's inside, but he tucks inside to create overloads and whatever.
Yeah, especially since they don't really have a left back, right? Like they've been playing João Cancelo out there. They got Zinchenko. Is Mendy still on the team? Like,
He might be hurt. I don't know. But yeah, David Alaba would be good for either of those teams. And for Chelsea, I think Marcos Alonso a couple years ago with that 16-17 team was phenomenal, right? And I think he like kind of fell out of favor, bad form. I'm not a huge Chilwell guy. I don't see it, man. Him and Reece James will both just like whip balls in from anywhere. They'll just cross it to nobody. And it annoys me.
Yeah. Saw someone on their podcast, like us, a bunch of American dudes, saying how good of a 1v1 defender Chilwell is. I was like, what?
Okay. Like, I'm sure he is a decent defender, but like, get out of here.
I wouldn't put Chilwell in the category of a good 1v1 defender. Like,
yeah, if you've gotten to the conversation where you're talking about Chilwell's 1v1 defending, I think you've gone a little bit too far.
Yeah.
All right. So that was all I had. We've been going at it for, I don't know, probably close to an hour. Have you watched any Chelsea under Tuchel?
No.
So you guys probably know, Lampard's out. I haven't been a huge Lampard guy. They hired Thomas Tuchel.
Tied and won, right? They tied the first game, won yesterday or the day before?
Yeah, they won yesterday, 1-0 against Spurs. Yeah, I woke up early to watch that game too. It was at 7 a.m. I guess they tied. I'm not sure. But I think it's a good thing for Pulisic because Tuchel likes Pulisic. He played under him at Dortmund. I don't like the formation he's playing. He's playing kind of like a box midfield. So it's like 3 defenders, 2 wingbacks, 2 defensive mids, 2 attacking mids that kind of run to the wing a little bit too, and a forward. So the 2 attacking mids and the forward are kind of interchanging.
Yeah.
He's subbed in Kai Havertz a little bit. He's been playing Timo Werner up there. So maybe it's just to get Timo Werner going. Maybe it's to get Marcos Alonso on the field. Maybe it's to kind of shore up the back line and the middle of the field. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to check him out. I haven't watched Chelsea yet, so.
Yeah. I know you have a little bit of experience playing this formation. I played it a little bit in college, this like kind of box midfield. And to be honest, I never liked it at all. You have to like.
I liked it.
Really?
Like, what they play a 4-4-2 with a box?
No, it's 3 defenders, 2 wingbacks, 2 defensive mids, 2 attacking mids, and a forward.
Oh, okay. All right.
So for me to really attack, it seems like you need the ball. You either need to hold on to it for a long time, or you need to be able to spring your forward or 2 attacking mids all the time, and your forward and 2 attacking mids are basically just like an interchanging front 3. But if the 2 attacking mids are not wide like a winger or an outside midfielder, it's just easier for the defense to get more and more compact. I mean,
because there's no one stretching the field like high and wide.
Yeah. So in a normal 4-3-3, while it might be a little static, you at least have your target, your number 9 up against the center back. He's stretching it that way. And your wingers are stretching it, widthwise. And it makes the defense defend them. But if everyone's inside, that's the basics of defending, which you teach little kids, is that when you have the ball, you make the field big. When you don't, you make it smaller. You make it compact. So you're almost doing that for the other team.
Yeah. I won't say too much, but
with a guy like Timo Werner, like these guys are so high level that there could be specific tactics to get Timo Werner running in behind or get Mason Mount kind of pressing and like winning balls, that kind of stuff. I like Mason Mount.
So Pulisic, has he been playing like one of those front 3?
Yeah, he subbed in yesterday. He subbed in both games. And like I heard people say like he's been terrible, but I thought he was pretty good yesterday.
Who said he was terrible?
I don't know. Some idiots online, I guess.
All right. You can't listen to everybody online, bro.
No. But like I don't think the system really helps Pulisic much. I would like to see him more as a winger or even a second forward at this point. But I don't think Tuchel's going to do it, the whole time. I think he might just be trying to get something out of his players and like kind of solidify the team and then move forward. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like new coach comes in, or if a coach is really trying to change something, there's like, oh, 3 in the back, everything's fixed.
Yeah, and then let's get to that soon too. They started Callum Hudson-Odoi in the other attacking mid spot, so like it's kind of like a pseudo winger attacking mid, which is kind of Pulisic's position. But I didn't think Callum Hudson-Odoi was too good yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's it. Last thing I want to talk about. You got a couple more minutes?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, people keep talking about 3 in the back, right? 3 defenders. What do you think about it?
Well, I mean, what do you say? Like, what are you saying? What do I think about 3 in the back? I mean, if I was a coach of a team, I would probably not play 3 in the back. But if I have 3 good center backs, then I guess I'll play 3 in the back. Like,
Yeah.
it's a general answer, but
Maybe I'm not. Maybe because I'm not coaching a team right now with 3 good, like. So if you were just given a team and like 3 of your best players were 3 good center backs, then like obviously my opinion would be way different. But if you're just thinking outside the box, like fresh slate, you don't really know your players too well. To me, I don't like it, and I think too many people just assume, oh, just play 3 center backs and like everything's fixed or whatever. But like I'll see pictures or videos of, oh, here's Man City's buildup, and they're playing 3 in the back to create overloads and whatever. It's like that's not really what it is. To me, the ideal thing is that you outnumber maybe a team's pressing with 3 forwards or 2 forwards, and like you could just have a center mid drop in as an extra center back if you need to. But ideally, you want the winger stretching the field. If you have 3 center backs, your wing backs are the ones providing the width, but they're probably only 15 yards ahead of the center backs. They're not all the way stretching the field,
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it kind of like cuts you off. Now, if you're that good of a possession-based team where you can methodically work the ball up, then yeah, it makes sense. Like Manchester City do it because it's not so much you're playing 3 in the back. It's they're so dynamic in how they rotate positions that the ball goes inside. Maybe João Cancelo tucks in to create a little triangle there. But they keep the ball so the other team is pinned back at like their own 18-yard box, and Sterling or Bernardo Silva might be at the touchline stretching the field. So instead of standing in a straight line like this, easy to mark, one is all the way wide, one is a little tucked in. Just like if a winger tucks in or is cutting inside, that's when the outside back overlaps. So they're just on different planes here.
Okay.
Like no one tells an outside back to go overlap if the winger's all the way wide. Then you're just standing in the same spot.
Yeah, but like formations, like it's the same game, just a different formation you play. So like the principles of the game are all the same. I mean, if you can win games with 3 in the back, then there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. And like another thing I always think is a good rule to have could be if the ball's on the other side of the field, let's say you're switching it to your winger, let's say you're switching to your left winger, just have your right back tuck in and be inverted a little bit. And he's almost like playing like a right defensive mid. So he's not all the way as a center mid. He's not all the way as a center back, but he's kind of in that little like half space where he could step up and win a ball or still get wide as the ball's being switched, which I think is something Manchester City do pretty well. And a team like Manchester City are so good moving the ball that they're always just finding like new little angles to circulate the ball. It's not so much let's switch it and run at somebody. They're so good that it's let's switch it and methodically work the ball around so we could find a little through ball or slip pass.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That kind of. You lost me for a little bit, but I think I got what you're saying.
Well, all right. So what part didn't make sense?
No, I ended up understanding, but
Okay.
I was lost for like a second.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
You're going like this.
I'm just saying if this is a winger and this is an outside back, that they're in line, right? They're straight. The wingers.
I don't know. People might be listening to this, so they might not see that you.
Think about if there's a straight line up the field, your right back and your right winger are on the exact same line up the field. But if your winger pulls wide towards the touchline and they're staying wide like they're supposed to, right? They're stretching the field, like kind of like what we talked about earlier. Then you could have theoretically you could have your right back tuck in a little bit so that you're not on the same line. Then as the ball's being switched to the right side, the winger could pull wide to stretch the field again. Or if the ball switches to the left side, the right back tucks in a little bit more, and it's kind of like a bit of a helper to the center backs or the center mids. So if a center back wants to step, the right back will drop in as a center back. If a center mid steps, the right back is there to provide cover to the center mids.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good. Was that a rant?
Kind of.
Kind of a rant.
I just don't like when people say, oh, City are so good because they're building up with 3 in the back. They're playing a 3-3-4 or something stupid like that. Like, no, every possession-based team wants to get more numbers up the field. That's the point. Their point is to get 2 wingers wide or a center forward and an attacking mid all the way up the field. Same thing with Berhalter. That's what he's trying to do as well, if you're trying to methodically work the ball up the field.
I got you.
All right. That's all I had.
Okay.
What else you got?
Nothing, bro. I literally just haven't been watching soccer for like the past week. I might have watched one game. Been busy, to be honest.
Yeah, you got to get back on it, dude.
Cool. Snowed in.
That's the perfect time to watch more games.
Not when you got schoolwork.
True. All right. That's all I had. So we ready to wrap this up?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, cool. So stay tuned, obviously, for this episode. Share all that kind of stuff. It helps us. Next episode is going to be legit, like good guest. Like it's going to be sick. All right.
We're
We
pumped
good?
for it. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Peace.
That's it.